Sagittarius, a loved one is warning you in your dreams. Family truth revealed in 2025. Sagittarius, have you ever woken from a dream heart-pounding, feeling as if someone long gone had just whispered into your ear? Perhaps you brushed it off, thinking it was only memory playing tricks. But deep down, something told you it was more. In 2025, these subtle signs, these dreamlike whispers are not random. They are messages. They are callings from loved ones who have crossed over yet still walk beside you. Especially now, when a hidden truth about your family is ready to come to light. Dreams have always been a bridge between worlds, and for you, Sagittarius, they are about to become the doorway to profound healing. If you have ever felt alone, misunderstood, or burdened by things you could never fully explain, this year offers a chance to see clearly, to release, and to remember that you have never truly been alone. Those moments you dismissed, a shiver at dusk, a feather at your feet, a dream that felt too vivid to be chance, are all part of a larger conversation between your soul and the unseen. If some part of your heart is already stirring at these words, if a name or a memory rises quietly within you, then know this is not by coincidence. You are being gently prepared for a truth that will change not just how you see your family but how you see yourself. And if your spirit feels ready to walk through this sacred doorway, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Not for me, but for yourself. So that every week you have a place to return to, where the invisible world finds a voice, and where your soul finds the courage to listen. Are you ready, Sagittarius? Let's begin. Part 2, Gate 1, Messages Through Dreams. The Return of the Silent Ones. Sagittarius, your journey has always been one of seeking truth, not only in the vastness of the external world, but within the silent corridors of your soul. In 2025, a gateway opens where the unseen will call to you more clearly than ever before. Through dreams, those quiet, sacred spaces where the mind lets go and the soul speaks freely, you will be touched by the presence of those you thought you had lost. But they were never truly gone. They have been waiting for the right moment to reach you, and that moment is now. There may come nights when you wake with tears on your pillow, unable to shake the memory of a face, a voice, a feeling that seemed more real than waking life. Sagittarius, those are not mere dreams. They are encounters. Loved ones who have crossed over are seeking you, whispering truths you are finally ready to hear. They see the burdens you have carried, the questions that have haunted you in silence, and they return now not to reopen old wounds, but to help you find your way through the dense forest of family secrets and personal pain. You, among all signs, have a unique ability to trust the unseen. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of higher wisdom and expansion, your soul naturally leans toward understanding that the universe is far more than what the eyes perceive. Yet even you, Sagittarius, may have doubted your own intuition. Second-guessed those moments when your heart knew something your mind couldn't explain. In 2025, you are being asked to trust yourself again, to believe that the sudden chills, the dreams that feel more like visits, the strange synchronicities are not random. They are invitations. I once knew a Sagittarius woman who carried a quiet sadness about a grandfather she never truly knew. One night, in a vivid dream, she found herself sitting on a porch she had never seen before, speaking with him as if no time had passed. He told her stories no one in her family had ever shared. And when she woke, she carried a sense of peace and purpose she had never felt before. Later, through conversations with older relatives, she discovered that the details in her dream matched truths she had never known. It changed her relationship with her family, and more importantly, with herself. Sagittarius, your dreams this year will be more than echoes of memory. They will be living messages, pulling you gently toward long-buried truths that need your courage to face. And not all these truths will be comfortable. Some may reveal betrayals, injustices, or griefs that were buried to preserve appearances. You may feel anger, sadness, even confusion. But know this. You were chosen not to suffer these revelations but to heal them. You were chosen because your spirit carries the strength to see without judgment, to forgive without forgetting, to love without losing yourself. There is something hidden within your family line. An old story, a truth long veiled by fear or shame, that needs to be acknowledged so that its weight no longer passes from one generation to the next. You are the bridge, Sagittarius, the one who can receive this truth, honor it, and then set it free. In doing so, you don't just liberate yourself. You liberate those who came before you and those who will come after. This is not a task of confrontation. It is a task of witnessing, of standing bravely in the light of what is real and saying, I see you, I hear you, I honor your pain, but I choose not to carry it any longer. That is the healing your ancestors are asking for. That is why they appear in dreams, not to frighten you, but to support you as you step into a new chapter of freedom and truth. Trust that you are strong enough. Trust that the wisdom of your soul knows how to navigate what the mind may struggle to accept. Trust that every tear you shed is watering the garden of your own becoming. In the nights ahead, Sagittarius, when dreams come heavy with meaning, do not rush past them. Sit with them. Write them down. Speak to them even if only in your heart. And remember, you are not being haunted. You are being loved in the deepest, most enduring way a soul can be loved. Through a connection that death could not sever. Through a truth that now seeks to set you free. This is the first gate you are crossing in 2025. The return of the silent ones, the loved ones who never truly left. They come bearing the keys to a door you were always destined to open. The door that leads back to yourself, to the wholeness that has waited patiently for you to remember. Gate 2, the family truth. Breaking the chain of silence. Sagittarius, there is a kind of courage that is not about fighting battles in the outside world, but about daring to face the truths that have lived too long in the shadows. In 2025, you are being called to a deeper journey. The journey of unveiling a hidden truth within your family. It is not a task given lightly. It is entrusted only to those whose hearts are strong enough to bear the weight of sorrow and transform it into light. And you, Sagittarius, are one of them. Perhaps you have felt it for years, an invisible thread of tension weaving through family gatherings, a sense that something unspoken hangs in the air. Perhaps you learned without words that certain topics were off-limits, that certain stories were rewritten or erased altogether. Maybe you noticed the way certain glances lingered too long, or how the silences between loved ones were louder than any argument. You were not imagining it. You have always had the gift of sensing the truth, even when it was buried under layers of fear, shame, or well-meaning protection. In 2025, that buried truth will rise, not to destroy you but to set you free. And more than that, to set free the generations who came before you, and the generations who will come after. Sagittarius, you are the one chosen to break the chain of silence, not through confrontation or blame, but through awareness, compassion, and the gentle but powerful act of refusing to carry what was never meant to be yours. Maybe it is a story of betrayal, of loss, of injustice that no one dared to name. Maybe it is a sorrow that was locked away because facing it felt too overwhelming. Whatever it is, you have already felt its echo in your own life, in the patterns that repeat, in the silent burdens you carry without fully understanding why. You are not responsible for the choices of those who came before you, but you are responsible for how you choose to move forward now. I once knew a Sagittarius man who grew up feeling an invisible weight in his family, a heaviness he could never quite explain. When he finally asked the questions that had haunted him for years, he uncovered a story of abandonment and sorrow that had been kept secret for generations. And though the truth hurt, it also liberated him. He realized that much of the pain he carried was never truly his to begin with. In facing the truth, he gave himself permission to live differently, to love more openly, to trust himself again. Sagittarius, uncovering the truth will not require you to attack or accuse. It will require you to stand in the quiet power of love and say, I see what was hidden, and I choose to heal. It may mean acknowledging the ways you were shaped by invisible forces. It may mean forgiving what was never apologized for. It may mean grieving for a family that could only love in the ways they knew how, even when it was imperfect. There will be moments when you wonder if it would have been easier to remain in ignorance, to let sleeping ghosts lie. But remember, healing does not come from forgetting, comes from facing. And your soul chose this path for a reason. You are not here to perpetuate cycles of pain. You are here to transform them. Trust the timing, Sagittarius. Dreams, intuitions, sudden realizations, they will guide you. Trust yourself to know when to listen, when to speak, and when to simply be present with the truth. You do not have to force anything. The truth will reveal itself in the ways and moments meant for you. And when it does, remember, your role is not to fix the past. It is to heal the future. By acknowledging what was hidden, by honoring the pain without letting it define you, you create a new story. Not just for yourself, but for everyone who will come after you. You become the bridge between what was and what can be. Sagittarius, your heart has always been strong enough to wander the widest worlds. Now, it is strong enough to navigate the inner landscapes that most fear to tread. You are not just a seeker of distant horizons. You are a seeker of truth, even when it is found in the places closest to home. This is the second gate you cross in 2025. The unveiling of the hidden, the breaking of silent chains, the choice to walk forward with clear eyes and an even clearer heart. You are not bound by the past. You are not defined by the pain you inherit. You are the living proof that healing is possible, that freedom is a birthright, and that the light within you is stronger than any darkness you were asked to carry. When you open this gate, Sagittarius, you do more than change your life. You change the destiny of your entire bloodline. Gate 3, protecting your light, awakening the inner guardian. Sagittarius, throughout your life, you have carried a light that you yourself often underestimate. It is not the kind of light that demands attention or seeks admiration. It is quieter, deeper, more enduring. The steady flame of a soul that has walked through storms and still chooses to believe in goodness. In 2025, after reconnecting with the wisdom of your dreams and unveiling long-buried truths, you will be called to step into your next sacred task, learning how to protect that light without apology. Perhaps you have already felt it, the strange discomfort some people feel around you, the way your very presence sometimes stirs emotions in others you did not intend to awaken. Perhaps you have noticed how kindness can sometimes attract both love and resentment, how authenticity can sometimes trigger those who are not ready to be honest with themselves. Sagittarius, it is not your fault. Light naturally reveals shadows, and not everyone is ready to face their own. This year will teach you something essential. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is sacred. It is an act of love not only for yourself but for the world you are meant to touch. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot shine for others if you allow your own flame to be smothered by the cold winds of envy, misunderstanding, or expectation. I once knew a Sagittarius woman who spent her life giving endlessly, her time, her love, her dreams, only to find herself drained and forgotten by those she helped. It was only when she learned to set boundaries, to say no without guilt, to walk away from spaces that dimmed her spirit, that she finally found the strength to live her own truth. And in doing so, she didn't become harder. She became freer. She became more herself than she had ever been. Sagittarius, your light is not meant for everyone. It is not meant to fit into every room or heal every wound. It is meant to illuminate the path for those who are ready to walk in truth, for those who recognize the gift of your presence without trying to change it or diminish it. This year you will be asked to listen more carefully to your intuition. The soft nudges, the quiet warnings, the unexplained knowing that has always been your hidden compass. You will notice more quickly when someone's energy drains you, when a situation feels wrong before logic can explain it. Trust these feelings. They are not paranoia. They are protection. You have been gifted with a sensitivity that allows you to feel what others miss, to sense the unsaid, to know when a smile hides sorrow or when a friendly face masks hidden resentment. In the past, you may have doubted yourself, brushed aside these intuitions, tried to rationalize away the discomfort. No more. 2025 demands that you honor your own knowing as sacred. Protecting your energy may look like spending more time alone, not because you are lonely, but because solitude nourishes your spirit. It may mean saying no to invitations that do not align with your growth. It may mean stepping back from relationships that expect you to shrink so others can feel comfortable. And it may mean trusting that you do not need to justify your choices to anyone. Sagittarius, you are entering a time when your inner guardian must awaken. Not the warrior who fights out of anger, but the wise protector who understands that peace sometimes requires distance, that love sometimes means letting go, that truth sometimes demands silence over explanation. You will also be asked to protect your dreams, the ones too tender to be exposed to careless words or doubting eyes. Not every vision needs to be shared. Some are meant to be guarded, nurtured in private until they are strong enough to stand in the world. Trust yourself to know which is which. Through this gate, you are not becoming harder. You are becoming more refined, more discerning, more powerful in the quiet way that true souls are powerful, not by dominating others, but by standing so firmly in their own light that no storm can extinguish it. And in this process, Sagittarius, you will notice something beautiful. The more you honor your light, the more the right people will be drawn to it. The more you trust your intuition, the more doors will open effortlessly. The more you protect your heart, the more fully you can love without losing yourself. This is not the year to apologize for your sensitivity, your wisdom, your wild and tender soul. This is the year to embrace it fully, to stand as you are without shrinking, without hardening, without explaining. This is the third gate you cross in 2025, the awakening of the inner guardian, the sacred protector of your own light. Not to isolate you, but to prepare you for the greater journey ahead. The journey where your soul's purpose can finally unfold without distortion, without compromise. Sagittarius, you have always been a seeker. Now you become a keeper too. A keeper of light, a keeper of dreams, a keeper of the sacred flame that has burned within you since long before you took your first breath. And through this, you do not lose your freedom. You become it. You embody the truth that real freedom is not found in escaping, but in choosing what nourishes, what strengthens, what honors the vast, untamed beauty of your soul. Conclusion: the circle of protection, truth, and awakening. Sagittarius, if you have walked with me through these gates, through the dreams that called you, through the truths that waited silently beneath the surface, through the sacred act of guarding your own light, then you have already begun to transform. 2025 is not just another year on the calendar for you. It is a soul season. A crossing point where everything that once seemed fragmented within you begins to weave into a greater wholeness. The messages from loved ones beyond the veil remind you that you were never alone, even in your darkest nights. The hidden family truths emerging from silence show you that the weight you once carried was never truly yours. The awakening of your inner guardian teaches you that protecting your spirit is not a betrayal of love. It is the purest form of honoring it. Each gate you pass through strengthens a different part of you. Dreams awaken your connection to spirit. Truth heals the roots of your lineage. Protection allows your light to grow strong enough to guide others without being extinguished. Together they form a circle, a sacred, unbreakable bond between the seen and the unseen, between who you have been and who you are now becoming. And as you step through this circle, Sagittarius, something within you will finally settle. The restless search for belonging, for answers, for validation will soften. Because you will realize that everything you ever needed was already within you. The courage to trust, the strength to forgive, the wisdom to walk away, the love to stay true to yourself. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you no longer live at the mercy of the past but create your life with intention, with clarity, with an open and fearless heart. A chapter where you become not just the seeker, but the beacon for others still lost in the dark. If these words resonate with your spirit, if some quiet part of you feels seen, heard, and remembered, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Not because you have to, but because you deserve spaces where your soul is honored, where your journey is witnessed with tenderness and respect. Here at Zodiac Wisdom, we walk this road together step by step, light by light. You were never meant to walk alone, Sagittarius. And now, as 2025 opens before you, neither will you. Trust the dreams, trust the truth, trust your light, and above all, trust yourself.